Howdy, everybody. It's Jim, better known as Sandman Mystery Media. Uh, Today, got a special treat for you. I am still doing the Occult Detective thing, so this fits in. And it is from 1963 to 1966. This is Doctor Strange, the Epic Collection. It's Volume 1. Uh, Most of the stories are by Stan Lee, and all the art is by Steve Ditko. And I think, personal opinion, this is one of the best works of Steve Ditko. A lot of people don't like his art, but it is perfect for this. Um, he did a lot of horror stories for Charlton, and he was doing his own inks on this. And the first story alone, just the art, and the Epic collections are set up really well. I love that. You know, great, great Ditko art there. These are set up great, but I mean, yeah, it doesn't look like the Doctor Stephen Strange we know, but look at those bottom panels. It's so noir, and the way he's doing the lighting, with the inks and everything. It's just awesome, awesome stuff. And that's just the first story um, from Strange Tales 110. Now, this volume covers Strange Tales 110 and 111, then 114 to 146, and Amazing Spider Man Annual number 2. And the first story is a nice little. How many pages is it? 2, 4, 6. Just a 6-page story. But it gives you that feeling, that pulpy, occult feeling. I mean, even Doctor Strange himself there looks very otherworldly. Very, very cool stuff. And back then, I mean, look at how he does Nightmare. You don't know what he really looks like, just very cool. Great use of the inks, man. And back then, when they first created him, he wasn't master of the mystic arts. He was Doctor Strange, master of black magic. Yeah. But they changed it over time. I don't know why. But even at the end of this, explore the mystic world of black magic once again with Doctor Strange as your guide. Very cool. Very, very cool. That was his first story, first appearance. Then the second story, you get Baron Mordo. Who becomes a nemesis of his. And then he returns in 114. There are some stories in this that really, really stand out. Like, of course, the origin of Doctor Strange. So they waited like 3 or 4 issues to do Doc Strange's origin. And I'm sorry, I consider him an occult detective because when he started out, he was solving weird cases. He'd fight the occasional demon or sorcerer, but mainly, yeah, he was solving weird cases. Like here, he has to go into the Nightmare realm to fight Nightmare. Again, very moody art. Steve Ditko was a master of drawing the otherworldly dimensions. He really was. Just an incredible incredible artist. And all these stories were 6 to 8 pages long until he got more and more popular. More Baron Mordo. Not happy with that. You know, you can't have him back like every other issue. Oh yeah, this story. I wasn't a fan of this one. The Possessed. It's where these interdimensional beings come to Earth and possess bodies, much like we think, demons do. So maybe, just maybe, demons, you know, there you go, demons possessing bodies of humans. Look at this. That's a great picture down there at the bottom to end the story with. Doctor Strange shadowed, his cloak of levitation just billowing in the wind with his head down and, doing his ending monologue there. Just really cool stuff, man. I personally think he is one of the best uh, occult detectives, I really, 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 really do. And then we got him battling a demon here. Like I said, he'll battle a demon. This next one. This was in Strange Tales 120. This is one of my favorite stories. There's newspapers and or TV shows investigating a haunted house, and the one guy doesn't come out, so they call Doctor Strange in, and he finds that he's being tortured by the house. Great Steve Ditko art as always. And the house tries to attack him, but it's Doc Strange, so that's not gonna matter. And it turns out the house was a living, sentient, otherworldly being, and it fed off the humans that it scared and put there, and Doctor Strange was able to banish it. Okay? Great stuff, man. And another good one is, Nightmare comes back. There is a 12-issue story in here that started from Strange Tales 130, ended in Strange Tales 131. And what made it so awesome and epic was it's the second run-in with Dormammu. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Had to quote that. Yeah, this is the first time he meets Dormammu, which is a great story in itself. Can't remember if that's a one-part or a two-parter. Yep, it's a two-parter. So yeah, the second story in the next issue was Duel with the Dread Dormammu. And that it went from being 6-page stories to 10-page stories there. And let's see, yeah, for a couple of issues, they just did one-shots. But this epic storyline, man, starting in 130 of Strange Tales, Baron Mordo and Dormammu decide they're both fed up with Doctor Strange and they want to get him. But Dormammu is forbidden from coming to Earth or attacking any of Earth's inhabitants or even doing anything to Doctor Strange because he actually Doctor Strange helped him in Dormammu's first appearance, which you got to read. I'm not going to spoil it. Yep, I refuse to tell you a 62-year-old story. Okay, no, but and so what he does, Dormammu is so powerful, he sends his power through to Baron Mordo, and Baron Mordo and his people are chasing down Doctor Strange throughout the storyline until Doctor Strange is finally able to realize that he is getting his power from Dormammu. And also in this storyline, we get the first appearance of the abstract entity known as Eternity. So it's this long 12-part saga that's told in 10-page stories. I mean, this is an iconic panel right there that has been made of posters, you know? And like I said, look at that. No one can do the other weird dimensions of magic like Steve Ditko. He was just the greatest, man. He was the greatest. Yeah. Here we go. Boom. The first appearance of Eternity. And, you know, Doctor Strange has to go into the dread dimension of Dormammu. And they're going to have a final battle with the pincers. Baron Mordo ruins it and by trying to sneak attack, and Doctor Strange is able to get the upper hand and he wins. It's just, man, it was just great stuff. And then, you know, the next couple of issues were just one-shot stories of various villains that want to get Doctor Strange. But those are the ones that really stood out to me. Okay. And then that same storyline, that same 12-part storyline was reprinted in these back in the 80s, Doctor Strange Classics. It was a 4-issue set on high-quality magazine-type glossy paper. And it retold, you know, it had all 12 parts in 4 issues. Very, very cool story. And then, you know, you've got other artwork in the back, because who doesn't love the Master of the Mystic Arts? Now, many people will say that, you know, John Constantine, and I'm a big DC fan, okay? John Constantine is the greatest occult detective. I'd say it's pretty close, occult detective skill-wise, between Constantine and Doctor Strange, because Constantine not only tricked and defeated the devil 3 times, but he was able to trick and thereby defeat the presence once. You know, and the presence is their form of God, you know, Yahweh, the creator. But Doctor Strange has saved the multiverses on so many different occasions. He even saved the life of Eternity by performing surgery on Eternity. Yes, that is a skill that he has. Go ahead and check it out. It'll online. I forget the issue number and what volume of Doctor Strange, but he did that. And if eternity dies, the entire multiverse is gone. Okay, that is because he is the multiverse. So the abstract embodiment of it. So yeah, that is my review of Doctor Strange Epic Collection, Volume 1, the original stuff from 63 to 66 with Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Incredible, incredible book. Okay. Really awesome stuff. I was just, yeah. Okay. And like I said, the story, the first story really stood out to me because of the art. The story about the sentient interdimensional house stood out to me because that's such a cool concept. And then the 12-part second appearance, basically, of Dormammu, or second full appearance of Dormammu as a villain, that 12-part storyline, that really stood out to me because, man, Doctor Strange goes through it in those 120 pages or however many it is there, that 12-part saga. Really great stuff. Underrated, underloved character there. Doctor Strange is very cool. I think everybody should give him some love. He's well worth it. And that's it. I have more videos coming on the way. I will talk with you guys later. God bless you all. And hope you stay warm and dry because it is raining kitties and doggies here in not sunny California. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.